Good day, everyone. This is Mbali Ntuli, and I am a postgrad at the University of KwaZulu-Natal here in South Africa. And I am doing research, and I do not have a research topic. So I've been researching before my research starts. Anyway, I came across this wonderful article written by Belinda Crawford, okay? And in this article, she speaks about apartheid. Now, I know you're going to go and think, ugh, what's new? We've done this. Can we please get over it? But she's actually addressing an important topic and a very interesting one. She speaks about reformatory. Now, this is something that let me not say we, as in I'm generalizing, but I'm pretty sure that most South Africans have never heard of reformatory. And she's speaking about this reformatory and the others. Can I please introduce Ms. Crawford? Hi, Ms. Crawford.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, Mbali. I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you. It's cold, but
yes,
I'm good.
Yes, it's cold. It's very, very cold. But you're going to warm us up with this interesting topic. Please tell me what is reformatory, because it sounds like a concentration camp for UFOs. You know, like they've just been shipped in, they've landed on Earth, and they need to be refined and reformed into human life.
Well, let me say this at first, that it's far from a concentration camp, to say the least. However, it is a place or an institution that has been formally set up together with the Department of Education and Correctional Services to deal with young adolescents that broke the law. Mm-hmm. So in order for you to land up in reformatory, which was a separate institutions for both girls and boys, you had to have violated a law, either theft, murder, stealing, hijacking, things like that.
Okay.
That type of law you had to violate in order for you to be in a place like that.
All right. So what did you do? Yes, sir.
Well, Mbali, I was just born, hey?
Oh.
I was just born.
All right.
I am dual heritage. Another term for that, another better word for that would be biracial.
You're colored.
if that makes you feel better to address me.
Well, in the South African sense.
In the South African sense, then that's fine.
All right. Yes.
But however, I had to be born.
Yes.
To say the least, because when I look at my life, especially through my childhood, and later found out that I was a foster child. And when I went into the archives of caregiving and foster caring for kids, it did start from the courts.
Okay.
You know, from the magistrate courts.
Yes.
And it did. You would move from foster home, and dependent on how you were in those specific foster homes, and then you would move to the second stage, and that would be a place of safety.
Okay.
And then from a place of safety, you would then either go back to your family.
Yes.
Or you would either end up in reformatory.
Okay.
But prior, I think in the early 90s, as early as 1934 or 1911, it was actually transformed from a school of industries. I know a lot of older folk will know what the school of industries is all about.
Yes.
Where you are taught a skill.
Okay.
You know, but it wasn't meant for blacks.
All right. Okay.
The school of industries were meant for whites, which means that if you came from a middle class, or if you were poor, that you would go to a school of industry to learn a skill that you don't become poor.
Okay.
So that you keep the economy going and you don't fall in that ratio of lack.
All right.
So it later then transformed, as the years went by, it later transformed into a school of reformatory. But however, the concept of this is actually a British concept.
Oh.
From the UK.
Yes.
So where they would train young adolescents with skills to build the economy and also obviously to make money.
Okay.
So that's how it was initially. And when it came to South Africa eventually, but when the apartheid really kicked in, it became something a little bit more severe, because when I looked at the law of the land at that time, in order for you to land up in reformatory, you would have to have violated a specific law to be there. And you are really delinquent beyond,
yes,
I would say beyond repair.
Okay.
For you to be there. So, only to find that in my case, and how I ended up there and followed the, what can I say? Was it the law? Not the law, followed the procedures of foster care, place of safety, reformatory, and then from reformatory you go back out into the community or into the society. But however, I found that there wasn't one specifically, it wasn't, reformatory wasn't one for every race, it was for coloreds only.
All right.
Coloreds only, and this one was in Cape Town, and everybody came from all over the country to Cape Town.
When you say everybody, you mean?
All girls came from all over the country. You had to go to court, and the court had to send you to reformatory.
So all the female coloreds came to this reformatory in Cape Town.
In Cape Town, yes.
Okay, all right.
Also bypassing the procedure, you have to go through place of safety, because when you get to reformatory, you can't go to reformatory if you're under 16.
Okay.
So they have to keep you in a place of safety until you're 16, and from 16 to 18, then you go to reformatory.
All right. And what was reformatory like? I don't know.
Reformatory was very exclusive and isolated from society. You had no interaction with society at all. You had no. You were like more or less on an island.
Okay.
Where you would smell the air, but you wouldn't see anyone. It's just your peers that are around you, and the matrons and the caregivers that will take care of you.
Okay, but so it's like boarding school, but for coloreds far away.
Similar to that, I would say.
I'm assuming that's what it is.
Boarding school, they have some. You guys do have some sort of, or boarding school. I wouldn't say you guys per se, but I would say boarding school had a liberty. You had liberty and leisure. You didn't have that in reformatory.
Is it?
In reformatory, there is no leisure. The leisure is your time, your quiet time, or if not quiet time, you're either cleaning up, and if you're not cleaning up, you're in some routine.
Okay.
You're following a routine from start to finish, from the morning up until you go to bed. So, and in boarding school, you can go home over the weekend for any emergency. Your parents are allowed to come and fetch you.
Okay.
You can go for the term holidays. You are allowed to go home.
Yes.
But in reformatory, that's not the case. You stay there until either the June holidays, or you stay there until the end of the year. Okay.
And during the holidays, where would you go to?
Well, no, I didn't go anywhere.
You didn't go anywhere.
I stayed.
You stayed there.
I stayed.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I was sorry. Just to follow up on the other question was that I realized that I didn't commit any crime. I didn't murder anyone. I didn't steal anything.
Okay.
I didn't break any of the laws for me to have been there. But during my research and study about my context and about my life, I kind of picked up that I probably was in that space at that time, in the early 1990s. Yeah. Was when I think there were so many delinquent young adolescents at that time that they just boxed us all together. Right. They just put us all together. So some of them definitely were there that had committed some heinous crimes, honestly. And some of them were just there due to other social circumstances. Others were there due to the fact that they didn't have anywhere to go to. And like myself, I was literally there because I didn't have family. Okay. And I didn't have either my mom or my dad being raised by either of them. I literally was a state child, so I followed the procedure from start to finish.
All right. Okay. You said you're biracial.
Yes.
Okay. Being biracial puts you in a liminal position.
True.
You're top deck. You're black and white. You're white and you're black. Yeah.
You're funny, buddy.
So in a society whereby you're being constantly categorized,
Yeah.
particularly in South Africa, where you have to tick the boxes, your race, your ethnicity, and your gender.
Yeah.
How did you navigate through this liminal web?
Okay. Coming out of reformatory, there was only one thing that my psychological state was prepared for, and that was to survive. And the survival literally meant that you need to hurry up and find yourself a job and take care of yourself. Hence, I was working at 18 and had my own apartment at 18 and taking care of myself at 18. So having to navigate myself through these various categories that racial categories that you have mentioned.
Yeah.
At first, it kind of dented my identity quite a bit, trying to figure out where do I fit in and why don't I fit in.
Yes.
And how come I don't fit in. So we had a whole lot of questions that I had as to where do I fit in, why don't I fit in, how come I don't fit in. And if I can't fit in, then it's obvious I can't live in this alienated state away from society. It's obvious that I am part of them. The only way for me to cope is to have culture adaptation, to just adapt to wherever I was. I would just adapt to the culture. If I was amongst Indians, I would adapt to what they did and just incorporate myself for whatever that they did.
Flexible scut.
If you were to put it that way. If I was with the whites, yeah. If I was with the whites, then it was the same. And if I was with the blacks, it would be the same. It would be the exact same. But however, internally as a human being to myself, it left a whole lot of questions.
Yes.
A whole bunch of unanswered questions.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a foster child. I believe you were reunited with your mom.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about your relationship with your mom.
Well, I would say it's one that is developing and evolving because my mom, even till this day, is still surprised by who I am and what I can do and my capabilities. You know, one of the things she would also say that when I was your age, I wasn't that beautiful.
Did you forget to tell her, Mommy? You're not mixed. Okay? You know?
Just like when I was your age, I was not this beautiful. But she has she has this awe about me. So she would always want me to stay for longer periods at home, just that she could get to know me.
Yes.
So we are literally in that stage where we are getting to know each other, even though I still have a void which I have made peace with over the years. That at this stage and age of her life, you know, my mom is now growing backwards, getting older. You know, it's like she forgets things, and you know, you can't hold a conversation with her nicely, and every now and again you try to explain something, and I'm like, okay, did you really understand what I'm saying? You know, like, you know, or is it just good to just be at home and just to be in your presence as a mom and daughter? Let me cook for you, and you know, and my mom serves me versus me serving my mom, so that kind of just it's more it's unusual for me in a way. You know, she serves me as a queen, as I don't know, something great that just needs to be honored.
I can imagine, you know. Yeah.
So, and then it strips that away from me because I have siblings. You know, it strips that void that I've always had in terms of, you know, hey, this is my mom. She needs to be the queen. You know, she needs to be served. It shouldn't be vice versa.
I guess he's trying to make up for lost time. Yeah.
I suppose Shane in her own way.
And do you guys have conversations? Do you ask her, Mom, where were you when I was at this age? What happened?
And yes. My mom is extremely overt about the stories and about what happened. And I think that's where I've also picked up one of my mom's traits and strengths that I learned from, I think maybe genetically in my blood. That I would always prefer to rather just be open, transparent, and tell the truth.
Yes. You
know, and not sugarcoat anything or like, I've got that from my mom. My mom is just, she's open and transparent. So if I were to say, Ma, tell me about like what happened. And I've tested my mom over the years to see whether she didn't change. No, her story hasn't changed.
Okay.
So whenever I ask her, she'll be like, but didn't I tell you?
Yes.
You know, why are you asking me again? But I told you the story.
Got no ears.
You know, but
Yes.
didn't I? And then she'd be, okay, after she would like say, but then she'll tell me. Okay, Lulu, it was like this, like
Yes.
that, like that. You know, then she'll narrate the story, the same story over and over and over again. And I think for her, it's one that she never forgets. You know, yeah, because which woman? I think both you and I are moms today. We're both women.
Yes.
It's not easy to have had that experience of carrying a baby for 9 months and then you just
let it go.
No,
Yes.
it's something that you never let go of.
Speaking of moms, speaking of womanhood, going back to this liminal web that we speak of, do you feel that the liminal web has deprived you of the socialization of gender because it separated you from your mom, and as a result, you've missed out on a lot of steps on how to become a female in society or a black female in society? Do you feel that liminal web has deprived you of that?
It has in so many ways. It has. Because I had to literally raise myself and have to put morals that were good and bad, you know, for myself, or they were evil or righteous for myself, you know. So most of the time I was very I was reliant on my intuitive nature, to figure out which one would be the best route to go, you know. But however, they like I mentioned, that void also encapsulates those steps of becoming a young woman, as what a mom would do, you know, like how my mom has done with my other siblings, and a great job at that. So she has so much of wisdom. She has a whole lot of wisdom. Like she would say, she would always remind me, I didn't raise you, but don't ever allow a man to be your potty.
Yes.
You know, like we potty training our babies.
Yes.
You know, ungayenzi ukuthi indoda ibe isikiki sakho.
Okay.
Mayiphisa nje ukuchama bese donsa isikiki nje ayikhamela
I need to interview your mom.
So my mom would say things like that, like, you know, don't. So my mom would, so it's all of those things that my mom would, you know, inculturate into my sister that I didn't have, you know, that she wouldn't walk me through. And I've also noticed how open she is with my nieces. You know, my mom is like extremely open, and that's the trait that I get from her, where she's so transparent and open to like just a whole book of life.
Okay. So with
her own way.
you being deprived of the socialization of your gender,
right?
Looking at or taking from your experiences that you've had with women in South Africa of all races, would you say, I'm grateful for not being socialized? Or would you say, hey, I've missed out, I would have liked to be this kind of woman?
50-50. I'm going to say 50-50.
Yes.
I think being in a liminal state, it's more, it works to my advantage, where I could pick and choose what I want. Whereas other women in our country didn't have a choice. They just had to you know, for them it was part of their lives, whether they liked it or not.
Yes.
But now, looking at it now from where I am today, I think it works more in my favor, which I can pick, choose, and refuse. I don't have to take that, and this really works quite well. And maybe I can try this one out. Let me just consider this A, B, C, and E, and F. But however, it does. It still points back to that void from mom.
Okay.
You know,
and how does this, if I may, affect you with your relationships? You know, let's say you date a strong Zulu man, you know, set in his ways, and here comes Belinda, the liminal other, who's just like, listen, I'm a cosmopolitan of personalities. I cannot be that woman that you want me to be. You understand what I'm saying? How does being liminal affect you in relationships, even in your sexuality?
I think in the beginning it really was challenging. It really was challenging because it kind of went against what I felt worked for me or whatever I felt was okay for me, and I don't have to succumb. I don't have to submit, to this set ways because it's not my reality and I don't know it. And because I don't know it, I might just mess it up. So it's safer to just not be a part of it.
Okay. Okay.
And especially if it's not well explained. If it isn't well explained, then you still leave me in a lurch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And definitely we are going to have culture clashes. Because, including personality clashes, because this Zulu man, let's say for argument's sake, is set in his own ways, and here I come with a with a rainbow of concepts of the way life should be, and how I should portray myself as a woman to you. And then here you are sitting this stuck one way, So yes, we will have clashes, and I'm still saying that if it's not explained, or if I'm not taught, like, listen, this is how we do things, or these are the expectations that I have of you. If that is not communicated, I have to say that we are definitely going to clash, and I have had those in the past where we would have clashes, because you can't expect me to be something that I don't know, especially if you are aware of my background. My background is a canvas. It's a blank canvas. And yours got black and white on it. So if you don't come to me and explain to me and say, listen, this government, let's say for argument's sake, Dlamini government. The Dlamini government operates like this. And this is the legislature, this is the bills, this is the laws of how we operate. If you fail to do that, then you are definitely going to set up yourself for, we are going to have conflict. Because I don't know what I'm violating. I don't know whose toes I'm stepping on. I have no clue what is going on. And you just making the assumption that I should know. So the best way for me would always be to just leave relationships like that. I just walk out.
You just walk out.
Yeah,
okay.
I leave it.
Okay.
So hence that has that, it has that aspect to it.
Yes.
It does.
All right. Can we just take a break? We'll be break after 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Just need to get some libations and fluids going. Thank you very much.
Over to you off, Fadi.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just earlier on, just to brief you quickly, we are talking to Miss Belinda Crawford, who is a lady in South Africa who is basically writing about her experience in the reformatory, which took place back in apartheid, and it only happened to colored people, and which I'm sure very few of us know about. And so she's just giving us her experience and how it has impacted her throughout her entire life. And we're discussing the concept of being in this liminal web, because she's biracial, and all the consequences that come with being biracial, and just trying to navigate through a society whereby you have to constantly tick categories and fit into specific areas. And so we're just trying to discuss and unpack all of this. So the last question we're talking about was, we spoke about how this liminal web deprived you of your socialization of gender, and we got into relationships and how being top deck or cosmopolitan of personalities affects you in relationships sometimes.
Yes.
Speaking of relationships, let's talk about your relationship with Christ. How does the liminal web affect your faith? If you have one, do you even have a faith?
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good one. I think it's really deepened it in a sense that growing up in multiple homes and being exposed to more than one belief, or being exposed to more than one spirituality, to put it that way. At some stage, I did mention before, probably off before we started recording, where I told you that I was a Muslim at some
Yes.
stage
Girl.
for about 6 months.
Yes.
For about 6 months, and being
Practicing
exposed
that
to
halal, honey.
Yes. So, and had my name changed, and because I was in that home at that time, I just had to adapt to the culture, including the spirituality. And yes, also being exposed to various types of African spirituality, because I've come to realize there's not one, there's like so many, there's more than one. So having to experience that as well, and also having to find what makes sense, not necessarily makes sense, but what anchors my being.
Yes.
What anchors, what hope do I have? And also being afforded that opportunity to be with the Muslims, and to be amongst the Indians, and to be with being exposed to the blacks. And then also, even in the color community, there's also just a whole range of denominations. It's like walking down the aisle in the store. You're going to get all different types of brick cereals, for breakfast.
Yes.
It's not just one.
Yeah.
And you got to just choose which one suits you, which one works for you. So with all of that exposure, I still found that none of them worked for me until I had a personal encounter with Christ myself.
Okay.
And that's where it built, and that's where I think my Christian faith had formed, because I couldn't explain it. It didn't come with the dogma. It didn't come with the doctrine. It didn't come with no do's and don'ts. It didn't come with laws. I didn't attend any 10 service. Like, I didn't receive a flyer on the road, like what they do, give flyers. I didn't receive
Jehovah's
a flyer.
Witnesses, y'all are powerful.
Nobody came to my house. Nobody came knocking on the door to tell me about this. I was just a human, or I would say I was a female in South Africa doing life.
Yes.
And what worked for me. So I really didn't have absolute no spiritual foundation at all. So I realized that none of the ones that I was exposed to were ones that I would not subscribe to.
Yes.
And also one that didn't necessarily feed my spirit and my soul, anchor it in a way that the encounter did. And when I say that, it's like there definitely was I didn't attend any church. I would go to churches with friends, yes. But I didn't attend where I would smack my chest at what others would do.
Yes.
I am Lutheran, I'm Methodist, I'm Roman Catholic.
No.
Absolutely none of all of that. So I would just go where all my friends would go, but nothing solid for myself, until I had a personal encounter with the Spirit itself, or with Christ himself, that really now I then went looking for a Bible-based church where I could grow this thing that I've experienced. I really went in reverse, like more in reverse.
Yes, definitely.
Had this experience. Now what do I do with it? Who do I go and speak to about it? Who do I have visions and dreams, and none of other people can explain that to me. So but when I read through the Bible, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is the same thing that I had, Ezekiel had.
Yes.
Oh, the exact same, almost like, gee whiz, I had the same dream like you had. Or, okay, but wait a minute, I've seen this. Oh, wait a minute, in Revelation, oh, wait a minute, I saw this. It's the same thing I've had. These are the dreams that I have been having. So it worked more in reverse. And even up until that encounter, I didn't even have a Bible. I never had a Bible. I never read it at all. Right. So it was just now that this has happened to me, now I need to go and find some way where I can grow. And it was also like shopping, going here, don't work here, it doesn't make it, it's going to work here. Go somewhere else.
Interesting. Yes. Okay, so from what I've gathered, we've dealt with identity.
Yes.
Okay. We're trying to define what identity is, what it means, and we still don't know what it is, what it means, from our conversation, really. Okay, because especially with your encounter with Christ,
Right.
you know, as you're saying, it's for you it was the other way around. You found Christ.
Yeah.
Most people are socialized into finding Christ.
Wow. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
And you weren't socialized at all
No.
into doing anything for that matter. You know, and you found Christ. So, fuck, what is identity? You know? Okay, so let me ask you, are you still in the liminal web?
No. I would say that being with my mom more than once, and reuniting with my sisters and bonding with my sisters has really helped, and has, I would say, merged. I'm not going to say closed.
Yes.
It's merged. It's merged us together in such a way that I can show you where mom lives. I can show you where my mom stays, in Durban. And I can show you who my sisters are, And at least now I have a sibling relationship.
Yes.
Which I never had before.
Yes.
And now it's almost like as if I still find myself in a space, I would say a liminal state versus the web. Because the web, there's so many things that I'm touching on, and I feel more and more entangled.
Yes.
Society, relationships, faith, and all these different things, and it's just too much, But now, knowing who I am with my mom, and my mom giving me the freedom not to choose whether I would either be biracial or colored, as what you would say, either colored, biracial, or as I prefer myself to be a liminal, be in a liminal state, and I'm actually happy to be there.
Yes.
Because I've learned over the years what it means to see a human and not to see you for what society would categorize you as a specific race. I see a human. So I would treat the Indian, the white, the black, and the colored equally. I see a male, I see a female, I see queers, I see a human being in front of me first before I were to put you into any box. And the beauty part about maybe that toxicness of being in this web has also made me has also afforded me the opportunity to learn different cultures.
Yes. Yes.
And just to adapt, not necessarily subscribe to, but I would adapt to it so that we can live in harmony. And I think that puts me to be in the threshold. And I think that's a space and state that I would prefer to stay.
Okay.
And not be either or.
Yes.
I would prefer to just stay right here, and I'm kind of comfortable to be here, because now I've gotten to a point where everybody is inclusive. Everyone is included. Everyone's included in my space. There is no animosity if an Indian walks in, or there's no animosity if a black person walks in. There's no animosity if a white person walks in. Nobody has to feel inferior or inferior or the opposite in the presence of the other. With me, we are humans. We're just human beings, and we're coming together for whatever cause it might be. Whether it would be for a workshop, whether it's for a seminar, whether it's for a conference, whether it's for worship, even for worship. It's not going to be, imagine acting like as if you're some dummy, Or now that, I wouldn't want to stereotype anyone. No, that's not I wouldn't do that at all. So this liminal state allows me to interact with individuals and to see them for truly just for who they are, and just to accept them, and just to have this that I've learned. I'm not sure if it's an Eastern philosophy where they say namaste. Namaste literally means the God in me sees the God in you. So I would just namaste every walking human being in front of me. That I see the God in you and treat you that way. Versus me having to, you must be careful, it's going to take your milk out of your tea. It's going to steal the milk out of your tea. Or you're going to have to worry about, a black person feeling, oh my gosh, it's a low self-esteem thing, and looking at you, that's no. None of that would be at all.
Wow.
A person in front of me.
Yeah.
And if I can speak the lingo, well, we thank God. If I can't, I'm happy to learn. Yeah.
Okay, so your article is only just a taste. I believe you're writing a book.
Oh, yes, I am.
You've also got research going on the side.
Yes.
So, in drama, we say, what is the playwright's intention? What is the purpose of Belinda's story about the reformatory
and the liminal state?
And the liminal state, yes.
Okay. Now, the purpose of my articles, and I think ultimately the purpose of my book, is giving the power of autonomy to the others.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Not the creepy others that we watch on TV. The others.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Belinda. For me, as a social scientist, as a postgrad student, I did say that I was doing research just so that I could come up with a research topic. And I hope for the listeners out there that you've been able to get something. Something has triggered you, and whether it be identity, be sexuality, be race. I know these are topics that have been discussed over and over again, but I think still in the society, particularly in South Africa, we are battling with these issues. Hence why you've got millions of people stuffing themselves with antidepressants, because they're not dealing with these issues, you know? And you've come out and said, this is me. Okay? My crime was to be born. And I was sent to an island somewhere with no identity, nothing. And you've had to deal with all of these things.
Yes.
And yet here you are. So I hope that the listeners out there have taken something from this.
I hope so too.
Yes.
I hope so too. Thank you, buddy, for your time.
Thank you so much, Belinda.
Thank you.
Please come back with some more.
I will.
Hungry.
I will. I will. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.